Thunder! 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 Thundercats! Ho!
Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose. Feel the magic, feel the roar. Thundercats are loose. Thundercats.
Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form to Mumm-Ra, the ever-breathing!
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at the Super 7 Ultimates Thundercats Mumm-Ra, the ever-living, and this thing is an ultimate indeed. It is so large, this box is huge, it is so big. Wow! And this is just the brown mailer box that all Super 7 Thundercats come in, so it's not that great, but you still have Thundercats on the front, Mumm-Ra, the ever-living, ages 14 plus, Super 7, and on the back of this thing, you have some credits for the box, but this, again, is just a mailer box. It is not important. What is important is this awesome presentation. It is so big. Look at this thing. It is so huge with your double snake red foil logo, and that is so cool. And you have Thundercats, and you have Mumm-Ra, the ever-living Super 7, ages 14 plus. And if you don't think that this box is just the hugest thing that you've ever seen, let me compare it to a regular Thundercat box. You can see, wow, look how small a regular Thundercat box is compared to Mumm-Ra, the ever-living. Oh my gosh. Wow, this is so cool, so huge. All right. I know I'm getting really excited because this is huge and this is a great character. And anyway, so this is the front of the box. Going to the side of the box, you have nothing. On this side of the box, nothing. On the bottom of the box, you have some credits for the box and a barcode. On the top of the box, you have this huge word that says Ultimate. And finally, on the back of the box, you have the awesome Thundercats logo. And I got some glare on it. Let's do that. Okay, cool, Thundercats logo. And then you have contents, one figure with accessories, and Super 7 here at the bottom. Wow, this box is so big, I cannot even get it in the frame. But we also know that this is just a slipcover, and there is some more packaging to be revealed. When we remove the slipcover, it will go up. Oh, it's like stuck. It's so big. All right, here we go. You have Thundercats. Oh, and you see a little bit of the figure coming out. There it is. Up. Boom! Push it back. Oh, wow. Look at Mumm-Ra, the ever-living. This guy is so creepy, so huge. Wow. And you can see Mumm-Ra in there with his accessories and Mammut. And wow, that is so cool. And as we flip to the back side of the box, you have this awesome artwork of Mumm-Ra, the ever-living. And you have Super 7 up here in the corner, and you have a brief read-up of Mumm-Ra, the ever-living. I will scroll in. We will get some focus. You can pause the video here, read that to your heart's content, but we must be moving on. Wow, that is just a creepy picture of Mumm-Ra. I do think if he had the sword of Plunder instead of this, I don't know, scimitar-looking thing, I think he would be a lot more cooler. But as it is, he himself is really cool, reaching out to grab you. So anyway, that is it. That is the box. No one wants to see this evil dude in the box. I know I don't, so let's get him out and see what he can do. And here we have MummRa out of the box. And out of the box, he stands just under 9 inches tall. And he comes with a ton of accessories that we're going to take a look at. Starting off with MummRa's hands, he has 3 sets of hands. He has your standard fist hands. He has weapon holding hands. And he has a grabby set of hands. And these are the 3 basic hands that any character needs and all they'll ever need. Alright, moving on. MummRa comes with an alternate head, which is the same design as his original head, except with an open mouth. And it is not really designed to articulate, but the plastic is soft enough so you can actually move it if you would like to pretend that he's talking to the Thundercats. So kudos for extra heads. I like it. I like it a lot. Moving on. And for MummRa's next accessory, he has this awesome cloth good cape. You have a beautiful blood red on one side and a devilish black on the other, and it is really cool. It measures to be about 12 inches from point to point. You do have a little bendy wire here that will help you bend it and mold it to MummRa's evil frame. And the way it goes on is very, very cleverly done. If you look at the figure, you won't be able to find any peg marks for him unless you look really closely. Now, these sides right here peg into the little spikes on his gauntlet that are detachable, and this middle will attach into this hidden panel on his back, which will clip it into place. So that is really, really neat. This is really well done. I like how it looks. It feels great. The only thing that I can't understand what they did was, like the DC superpowers, they pinned this into the packaging with the little plastic things. And if we zoom in, you can actually see that it left damage, and you can see it left a little hole here, and it left a little hole here, and it left a little hole here because they, I don't know, didn't want to fold it up or just put it in there like they did every other accessory. I think that is just a really bad decision no matter what type of cloth good that you're trying to pin in there. Because as long as you get it sealed in the box, who cares if it rolls around a little bit? If you pin it, you're going to damage the cloth or the material it's made out of. But anyway, this looks awesome on MummRa. I love the design, and I think this is a really cool accessory. Alright, moving on. And the next item we have is the Gyroscope Regulator. Now what this did was, yes, it regulated a gyroscope, but not just any gyroscope. The planet of New Thundera, the Thundercats' new home, was held together by this huge gyroscope which created the gravity of the planet. And once MummRa messed with the regulator and stole it, the planet started to go bonkers and the gravity went crazy and all the other stuff until they were able to get the regulator back, and the sorceress Jagara was able to kind of temporarily save the planet. But anyway, that is what this little thing is, and it's a neat little callback to that one episode thing. And you have kind of a blackish, darkish blue spear up here, and you got some detail here, some nice color variations between the gray and the dark blue or navy blue or black, whatever that is. I think it's supposed to be blue. So that is your Gyroscope Regulator. Moving on. And next we come to the menacing sword of Plunder, and this thing is very, very nicely done. The whole blade length runs 12 inches. This entire weapon is 1 foot long, and it is so cool. You have a lot of serrated blades on both sides of the sword, and in the middle you have the awesome double snaked hilt, and that is really cool. Now the middle part is just done in what looks to be like a gold flat matte paint, which is okay, but if you remember and you actually got the decayed form from Super 7's first wave, you got this hilt, which was painted in a nice glossy gold, and I really wish you could interchange the two, but unfortunately you cannot. So yeah, you're just gonna have an impressive looking hilt or an impressive looking sword with a shiny blade and a dull hilt. So I don't know, take your pick. But I mean, if you want to, you can go always paint the hilt shiny gold. But anyway, this is the Sword of Plunder. It is very, very impressive and just a massive weapon of destruction. If you remember in the cartoon, this is what destroyed Thundera. So you have the ultimate villain with the ultimate weapon. Alright, moving on. The Key of Thundera. I didn't see this in the package, and a lot of people are missing this key. And it's kind of strange because if you look on the item description under the chosen prime of the Ultimate's MummRa, you will see that it does include the Key of Thundera. However, if you look at the item description under the listing at Big Bad Toy Store, you'll see that it does not include a Key of Thundera. I did look at the packaging, and I did not see a place where it would be molded or set in there, unless MummRa was supposed to be holding it, but that was not the case. So honestly, it's my opinion that he wasn't supposed to come with a Key of Thundera. It was just a typo. But if you're interested, this is what the Key of Thundera looks like. This particular Key of Thundera came from the Panthro figure in Wave 1. It did not come with my MummRa, so don't say, how did you get it? There is a fella named Rudy at Super 7 customer service who does seem to be interested in getting people a key, but since I've already got one, I'm not going to trouble him with it. And again, I don't think it was supposed to come with it to begin with. Alright, moving on. And last but not least, we have Mumm-Ra. And he's so cute for a demonic evil dog. He is so cool. He measures around 4 inches from his slimy jaws to his bent out little tail. And he does have some articulation. Yes, he does. His head can go around 360 degrees. His collar can go around 360 degrees. It is a separate piece. His legs are all articulated so they can go forward and backwards at your leisure to kind of give him that little flying thing pose that he would often do when he would fly through the air. And he's really nicely done. He's mostly a kind of a light gray blue, and he has a black tail. His head is nicely done with some nice floppy ears. There is a little strange paint chewing on this ear. I don't know, maybe he's, trying to chew his ear up too much. He has some nice blood red eyes, nice black nose, and some sharp white teeth sticking out of his little mouth. You got a little bit of color differential on his face with the darker gray and then a lighter gray here for his jaw and coming around under his belly and his bottom of his feet. You got black for his toenails, and that's pretty much going to be this guy. So yeah, I'm glad that they gave us Mumm-Ra, and unlike Snarf, he's not going to be his own release. So anyway, yeah, he looks so great. And even though Mumm-Ra was evil, he deserves a nice little pet. Alright, moving on. Now let's take a look at Mumm-Ra himself. Coming in real close on that head sculpt, you can see it is totally evil. And I love the way they did this thing. It is very, very accurate to the way he looks. And it's just, I think, perfect for Mumm-Ra, the ever-living. First off, you got his huge helmet with the double snakes coming out the side. The snakes are a nice purple until you get to their heads, which are black. You got a little bitty eyeball sticking out there. You have a nice gold crest for his helmet coming off on the points on the sides. I love the jagged look on that. Coming down, the actual headpiece is black, and you do have a little bit of dark brown coming around, building up the sides. You have the huge headdress coming down from the bottom, little ridges built into there. I love that mold. And then you have some mummy wraps coming down, black and red alternating. So that is cool. Coming to his evil eyes, they are blood red, no pupils, just orbs that look into your very soul. He has some nice lighter color above the eyes to kind of give him really weird type eyebrows. His face nice and blue, has some white teeth with some black rottedness in there. I would assume you have some nice mummy wrapping around his neck coming down, and these are single pieces. They are not molded in so that they can actually move. So we're going to zoom out just a little bit, and then we can see the awesome double snake logo on his chest. Now in the cartoon it was a little pinker than this, and this is a dark red, but I don't mind the darker colors. I love colorful things. So arms are blue. You do get a bit of a gold bracer here, and then you got his gauntlets on his wrists, and then you have his skirt, which is the black and the red with the gold trim. I like that a lot. And then you got the blue legs coming down to some gold boots with like a darker gold here, and then the lighter gold coming through the bottom. And then you have some molded fur for the feet, and then the blue toes sticking out there. So yeah, this is actually a really nicely done figure. I love the colors that they use. I love the design. I'm glad they didn't go with molds for the mummy bandages, because you can actually move them around. That's cool. Well, actually it does feel this upper one is molded here, but it's still got some points where it is just wrapped around. I love that coming around to the back of the figure. Nothing that we wouldn't expect. It's still base blue body, and just the back of his feet are exposed there. So bottom of the feet, you do got some peg holes and some detail for his feeties. All right, and that is what MummRa looks like. Moving on. And for his articulation, the head can go around 360 degrees, but you're going to have to fight this headdress to get it around, and you'll probably knock it off the ball joint. But that's okay. It can kind of look left and right, but it can't really move up or down. It's pretty much stuck where it is. So that's not a lot of cool articulation you get there. Moving down to his shoulders. Shoulders can go around 360 degrees. They are on a hinge, so they can go up and down from the body. There is no butterfly joint. There is a bicep swivel, 360 degrees, and because the bandage up here is molded in, you're not going to have to fight with that. You come down to the elbow bend, which is pretty good. Not exactly 90 degrees, just short of 90 degrees. And you do have a forearm rotation, 360 degrees. That is where you'll have to be careful not to get it wrapped up in this bandage. That will bring you down to the hand. Hand goes around 360 degrees, and it can articulate in and out at this hinge, and that's going to be true with all of the hands that you have. All right, coming down to the chest, you do have an ab crunch here, which brings you down a little bit and back a little bit, depending on where you want to put your standard, which is maybe there. You got a little bit of back. So anyway, that is good. Coming down, you do have waist articulation, 360 degrees, and yeah, you're going to be able to kind of do that, but then your mummy bandages are going to get messed up. So we'll go back the way we came, and that makes it look a little better. So yeah, be careful with that. Your legs can come up a little bit. The skirt isn't cut. I think you could have got a little more articulation if you cut the sides of the skirt out, but they did not. So this is really as much forward you're going to get, even though there's articulation to go more than that. Back, not much of any range there. Out to the side a little bit, and that's okay. Thigh rotation 360 degrees. Coming down, knee bend. It's not anywhere close to 90 degrees. And it's basically just a hinge. But it is what it is. Coming down to his foot. There is no boot articulation. And we do have foot articulation. The foot is on a hinge, so it can go down and it can go up and it could rock around the world and it will come off of the peg, but it just snaps right back in there. So be careful with that. So anyway, that is going to be your articulation. Moving on. In full comparison, here you have MummRa the Ever-Living with MummRa the Decayed Form and Mama, who's very confused right now. And these figures are perfect representations from how MummRa looked in both of his forms in the cartoon. I just love the way these figures came out. Moving on. And for our second comparison, here we have MummRa and the evil mutants in a scene where it looks like Jackalman said something he really shouldn't have to MummRa. So you have the other mutants looking on in horror. You got Slythe and Monkey and Vulture Man. So yeah, this is a really cool comparison. I think Super 7's really nailing it when it comes to pulling these guys right out of the cartoon. Alright, moving on. In full comparison, here we have MummRa waging his war against the Thundercats, and it is a battle to behold, as one has already fallen. But wow, I love the scenes and dynamic poses that can be set up with just a few stands, and the articulation built into these figures is just awesome. Alright, moving on. And this has been the Super 7 Ultimates Thundercats MummRa, the Ever-Living. And this was an awesome figure to play with. And I am so happy to be able to bring this figure to you. He was amazing. I loved almost everything about this figure. The design is perfect, spot on from the cartoon. Colors are a little off. I think some people would argue that he was more of a pale green as opposed to the dark blue, but you know, I don't mind the colors that much. Like I said earlier, I like brighter colors, and I think this fit the bill. The paint is okay. I did get some splotching on my skirt and on the legs, and the red on the chest symbol was kind of missing on the bottom right side, and there were some weird paint streaks on the boots. So I don't know, things like that is going to happen. However, if I'm careful, I think the trick I learned with the paint thinner would actually get rid of some of those stray marks if I was so inclined to do so and I had a steady enough hand. But other than that, the accessories were great. He had just the right amount of hands. I think Lion-O came with like 4 or 5 sets of hands, which was crazy. But this guy, he only had the 3. The punching hands, the weapon holding hands, and then the grabby hands. I think that's perfect. The accessories, the Sword of Plunder was great. Gyroscope Regulator, take it or leave it, I guess. Having Mama in the pack was definitely a bonus for this set. Always love getting little extra characters. The cloth cape is kind of a mixed bag. It looks really good. I thought it was clever how they affixed it to the figure by using 3 tab ends, but the more you play with it, the more frustrating it gets, and the fact that the tabs like to pop out and it's never going to stay in there because the holes in the cape will stretch and then it's eventually not going to be able to set in there. So I don't know. It had a good working premise, but I think it fell short in practical use, if you know what I mean. But still, if you just set them on a shelf and don't move it a lot, I think it's going to be fine. So if you're looking for this figure, you can find him online at various retailers, and he will range for about $60, and I think he's worth it because he's huge. So you're going to pay a little more for him than you would the regular figures, I think. In my opinion, it's fine. I can justify spending $60 instead of $55, but if it's something you guys have trouble with, it's going to be your decision to make, and maybe you can find him on sale somewhere. So anyway, that's going to be the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, keep playing.